My name is Emily Gray, and for the next 5 minutes, we'll be looking at the concept of cultural appropriation. Cultural appropriation happens when you adopt a custom, practice, and/or knowledge from another group, usually from a minority culture, without understanding or respecting the original culture and the context surrounding it. An example of this would be using forms of dressing, music, or art to perpetuate a stereotype and/or spread information about that culture. As teachers, we need to know the difference between appreciating a culture and appropriating it, especially for the classroom when introducing Indigenous concepts and culture to our students. This is because Indigenous knowledges are reflected in the art and work of artists and media producers. These works need to be reflected in education institutions. I'll be using dance from the Bangarra Dance Theatre to illustrate this concept. This clip, Macquarie, A Truthful Account of Sydney's History, is the First Peoples from the Sydney area retelling of the reality they suffered under the Governor Lachlan Macquarie, the father of New South Wales education system. If I was to use this video in a classroom because I was teaching my students about this historic figure, it would be classified as appropriation because I am not of Indigenous or Torres Strait Islander descent. To correctly display my appreciation, this dance would need to be presented whether by video or in person by a member of the Indigenous community. One of the best ways to appreciate Indigenous culture is to learn from people within that community, whether from the immediate community or through literature and pieces of work. Keane 2016 backs up this thought, as ways to engage contemporary Native communities includes reading contemporary Native literature, written by Native authors, or having students engage with contemporary Native artists, designers, filmmakers, and other media creators. By working closely with the surrounding Indigenous community, this ensures that we are appreciating Indigenous culture and we are correctly embedding Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and cultures in the classroom. Furthermore, so that no misappropriation is happening, engaging in creative collaboration with Indigenous partners ensures that the First People are not being used for their knowledge about their culture. Intellectual Property Issues and Cultural Heritage Project 2015 recommends adhering to the following principles in order to ensure that you're engaging with the Indigenous community in a responsible and respectful manner. The first step is to acquire free, prior and informed consent. This means presenting your goals clearly and concisely and to make sure that consent is given freely, without coercion and with full understanding of the person giving the consent, of the terms and consequences of the collaboration. Furthermore, make sure that your liaison is in a position to make these decisions and that they are recognised in their community as the authority on the matter being discussed. The second step is share control over the collaborative process and the ultimate end product. This means that you and your liaison must build a partnership that allows for you both to input information without censure and with equal control over the goals, the approach, and the final outcomes. Depending on how previous appropriating contracts went, this will determine how long and how hard it will take you to build a trusting and good working relationship. The third step is acknowledgement and attribution. This means you clearly identify who you've been working with and the detailed nature of the collaboration. If it's not communicated clearly, it can lead to a breach of consumer trust, and it may even constitute false advertising and can lead to severe legal repercussions for those involved. The fourth step is respect and cultural differences. This means you must take into account the consideration of differing views and experiences of everyone involved. This also ensures that the goals, approach, and the final outcome does not offend or threaten any values and practices. and to take steps to adapt processes and objectives when it becomes necessary. The final step is receptory and benefit sharing, where the one works with their partners to ensure that there's an appropriate balance between what's being received and what's being given to the community in turn. In summation, teachers have a duty to teach their students about cultural appropriation and the differences between appreciating a culture and appropriating it.